All right, thank you guys for the tweets, by the way, for the games currently going on. Much appreciated by all of you. Saves me and Zombie Grub a bit of trouble as we were scrambling to get into this. I want to host the games up, but without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is game number 2 in this best of 3 series. Huck is currently behind by 1 game. Hyun just took game number 1. We'll see how this goes. I'm Rifkin, joined by Zombie Grub, and spawning in the top left corner of the map. Not sure if it's for the Team Rawcat, but at least sponsored by Rawcat. It's gonna be Hyun.
And in the bottom left, as the blue Protoss, it is EG's Huck.
As you guys can see, all the sponsor logos displayed over here. I'm a little surprised Evil Geniuses doesn't have one of those the floating things that they introduced in the patch.
Oh, the yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like, for those who don't know, by the way, you have to be the leader and owner of the clan to change that. So, like, Huck can't create his own individual little decal thing or decal, and neither can Hyun. But Hyun's, of course, not on the clan. He could easily make a clan, though, and do one himself. But Evil Geniuses is kind of a little bit more established, and I don't think Huck's going to get away with just putting down, like, a picture of Smix or something there.
That'd be funny.
I'm still waiting, because we were talking the last time, like, for someone to put something maybe not inappropriate, but just a weird little thing to catch somebody off guard when they scout their base. Like what if, like, you know you're playing Hyun in a show match, you put a little thing that says "Hi Hyun" as he scouts you or something, right?
That's funny. That would be funny. But we do actually have a 14 pool, I believe, go down. So just a little earlier. Could get those Lings out just in time to maybe do some damage. We do see a Forge Fax expand, or actually a Nexus first come down for Huck.
2 drones gonna be able to do the pro pretty easily. Huck may just go for the pylon. Actually, doesn't have the resources for it, so I take that back. Going for his own earlier Nexus on Frost. Gonna get away with this, of course, for a little bit. Hyun is, yeah, not gonna be too bothered by this probe. I kind of think...
Scouts. Go ahead.
So he saw how effective that the counterattack was. For Huck to come into this game and try and go for... Like, I really liked his aggression last game. Bottom line, I think it worked. The problem was he may have over-dedicated to it, may have overextended his welcome type thing. If he performs the same sort of tactics this game, but in a little bit more of a reserved fashion, I think then he falls back and has a much stronger Sentry Immortal follow-up, if that's what he goes to, or maybe transitions into something else. But Hyun definitely should be worried about this game. I mean, that was not an easy win for him. He got lucky towards the end because Huck started really, you know, that recall, leaving some critical units behind, over dedicating warp-ins here and there, but these are not mistakes I think Huck will make again.
Yeah, I do agree. We have 6 Lings coming across the map, going to try and see if they can get past the wall before the cannon's up, or even if the cannon's up, just to get past it anyways. And actually, okay, Huck completely the walls off. It's not like letting 4 Lings, although I think actually all 6 of them would have made it past, is like the worst thing in the world, but it's actually really very annoying, and definitely something that's worth putting down a pylon to block off.
With the wall built the way it is too, if Huck didn't, like, if he canceled that pylon, Hyun could have easily gotten 4 out of 6 of those Lings towards the main.
Yeah, and that'd be no good. So Huck just says, whatever, I'll go ahead and wall off. I mean, if you're gonna make anything, it's gonna be through a warp gate anyway, usually, right? And
I think
if you don't, then you just gonna cannon up there.
No, I think this was just gonna be for, like, later on. Well, maybe cannon, but Hyun's gonna find this right away, so Huck's not gonna get a lot done. Should probably just cancel this. There you go. So whether it was like for a small dedication of cannons or whether it was going to be for just sneaking it around for the time being, it's Frost, guys. And even though you don't scout it, you're going to check that top of that cliff. I mean, this cliff has cost many a worker their lives before, and you can never really just ignore it.
Yeah. Well, the probe does get trapped. Minerals in mouth, I guess. That's whatever they use to mine.
I always like to pretend like they've got like tiny little dinosaur hands in the front of them or something, like, and that's how they hold the minerals.
Well, I think it's just like a graviton thing, so it's like something coming out, like an energy coming out.
Can we not be logical with this, please? I just want to pretend these are tiny little dinosaurs in armored suits, and that's what the Protoss really are.
Okay.
Little T-Rexes gathering those minerals, but pylon's getting taken down here. This is a little unfortunate because this is a fat wall off, which I'm not trying to be mean to the wall off, but you know it's going to allow his Lurkins to slip by pretty easily. One Zealot wouldn't hold, so the second pylon coming down is much more necessary. I like the +1 weapons coming out pretty quick. This isn't. I don't feel like this is going to be that +1 weapon timing that wins the game, because that has to hit before roaches are out, but it's going to make him a lot stronger when dealing with Lings, so Hyun's not going to be able to just mass on Lings and win the game.
Yeah. So just pop that stalker out, and we'll chase those lings. He did scout the lack of gas, I believe, in the main, so he knows that he doesn't worry about speed. And of course, seeing that third base also gives you a good intel, but that stalker can actually go up to the natural and see what's going on, or to the third and see what's going on if it really wants to, although it is a little dangerous.
Well, the Overlord from Hyun's getting towards the natural base. It's not going to see a lot, which is kind of sad. I mean, this is the Overlord you'd love to see sacrifice in and barely catch a glimpse of that Stargate or something coming in, but unfortunately it will die seeing pretty much nothing.
Yeah. Not too useful right there. He has another one that actually scouts the third base, though, so even if that Overlord died, he's like, well, you have a third base. Like, what else am I looking for? Really. Actually, there's no tech quite yet for Huck. Like, no Stargate or anything.
Another live bracket update, guys, coming from the admin of the tournament. Looks like Liquid Heroes taking on QXC 2-0. I don't know what to say about that. QXC's been playing really good lately, but that's not too unexpected. It is Liquid Hero after all.
I did not know if that was Liquid or CJ, so I learned something.
CJ is qualified already through previous IEMs.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Which is actually kind of nice, because I haven't seen a lot of Liquid Hero. Like, it's weird. Between the Home Story Cup Korea qualifiers, IEMs, and what have you, it's been a lot of CJ Entis Hero kind of just owning up the name lately.
That's why I was like, I wasn't sure. I actually just kind of assumed, not thinking that the fact that Hero already won 2 tournaments and is thus qualified.
Well, top right base coming out of Hyun pretty quick here for the 4th. Typically, you'd expect to see it towards the middle of the map, but I guess relying on the fact that Huck's not, or Huck. Oh god, there we go. That Huck's not going to be up there anytime soon. But it's worth noting, Huck, one thing I do really applaud about the way he plays is, like, if he's going to go for, like, gateway aggression in the mid-late game, he litters the map with pylons. He gets warp systems out. He'll attack you from multiple different angles, so this base won't necessarily be safe, but it will go unscouted for the time being.
Yep. A little surprised that Huck is playing so passive. I mean, usually when they get a third, it's usually with something, behind it. Usually a Stargate, honestly. So they have something to get out on the other side of the map and actually have some type of presence over there. Now he's just using Hallucinated Phoenix to get the scouting information, but not actually dealing any damage. So, in return, of course, Hyun feels very comfortable.
Well, we talked about him playing passive, but I think if he is going to move out, it's going to try and sync up with the +2 timing, if anything, but realistically, I'm imagining this will probably wait a bit longer. I mean, you don't typically go blink tack for a blink all-in. Huck, though, is a player who has been known to go for massive amounts of Stalkers versus Zerg players of all kinds, of all types, of all strategies, and one thing you have to give Huck for, love him or hate him, his blink micro it's top-notch.
Just getting a few more gateways, gonna take care of that Overseer again. Hyun not able to get much scouting information besides the base count.
I would love if Hyun, like, if this kept getting denied, he just eventually makes like 5 Overseers and says, screw it. One of these has got to get through. But it looks like Huck is setting up pylons over here. I don't know if Hyun spotted that or not. The Spire, Huck doesn't see the Spire. I didn't realize the Spire was hidden over here. I assumed that came in at a base, so I didn't think much of it, but Huck is not going to see this, weirdly enough. He'll warp in units on the low ground, and they won't walk around to see it. Hyun does find out about the pylon, though. He actually has vision in that fully and entirely, so this will go down. And don't let the probe see it. Okay, kills the probe. Couple zealots warped in. They're not going to get a whole lot done, but that's kind of cool that he's hitting the Spire. 10 Mutalisks on the way, and Mutalisks are very problematic for Protoss players. Hell, Mutalisks are very problematic for all players right now.
It's true. It is. And Huck's being surprised at all of Mutas is always really, really terrible, but at least he has Blink. He has something to help him defend all those bases. He's going to want to get something else, besides that, whether it's sometimes they try and get up that Phoenix count, and otherwise it's, trying to get up to those Archons. Yeah, that's going to be tough, but the Blink Stalkers can hold out for a little while.
We're going to move us towards the natural base, and there's a cannon on the wrong side of the mineral lines. There is blink on these Stalkers, so Huck's not going to be completely out when it comes to defending against these. Maneuverability is, of course, the most difficult thing to deal with Mutalisks. Their damage is actually not the scariest part of them. Again, is their impossibility to keep up with that makes them so strong, so scary. But there's not just Mutalisks here. Like, at half the army value, does Huck have what it's going to take to hold this? Granted, a lot of this is inflated through Lings and Roaches, but there's nothing here to stop but one cannon. Sentries are trying to get in position, but Guardian Shield goes down and no force fields are thrown. God, this is not a couple. This is so many Lings. Jesus Christ.
Look at that force field, though. Those are actually really good force fields. I mean,
Yes,
he's
they are.
losing all his probes, but he's keeping his army alive, which is important because he still has to deal with all those Mutalisks that are coming.
Yes,
I mean, he's actually losing a lot of
37
probes, so I don't know if that
probes.
actually matters. He's going to have a strong counterattack potentially, but getting back, like, just sitting back and trying to get your economy back up, I'm not sure is the answer.
Well, you know, with Chrono Boost, it can certainly help make up that difference, but you're right. Like, it's not like he can just sit here passively, make a bunch of probes, and hope to be back in this game. Huck is going to have to make something happen. He's once again trying to get a pylon up here in the northern position on the map. Hyun has seen Huck's little shenanigans, and it will not happen again. I kind of wish he would almost move where he's putting it down, but I guess just wants to get the units in regardless. As it's units spawning from this base, flying away that see that pylon up in the high ground. But this Mutalisk flock is getting a little out of hand. It's currently 26. Blink Stalkers are going to struggle to deal with this, mostly because not the Mutalisk, the 74 Lings that are going to be underneath them.
Yeah, there's no splash damage to take care of him either. He's just now getting that Templar Archives. He's going to have the ability to get Archons, which are going to help, but Storm would also be helpful, not necessarily against the Mutas, but
against
the Lings. Yeah.
Level 3 weapon upgrades make Huck's army very volatile, but unfortunately not a lot of durability tied in with it. This base may go down this time. He's got some force fields. Can he save it? Not even going to bother trying. Unfortunately, he does fall, and Huck is in a bit of trouble here. He's got to focus on the Mutalisk. The Lings could be force fielded off, but it's not happening. He wasted all his force fields on the right side. Archon's coming in, perhaps a little too late. Very late to the party, not able to connect to these Mutalisks. Again, the damage to the Stalkers is pretty darn good, but the Mutalisks are just too numerous.
Yeah. Some nice shots from the Archons actually forces Hyun's Mutas away. Surprising enough, but it's not enough. So Huck is going to go down 2-0 to Hyun.
Well, congratulations to Hyun. He will move forward in the brackets.